Welcome back to Standard Capacity. We took a quick little 5-month break after the first episode, which happens from time to time. You know, it's not as long as some of my breaks. We got Mack Nepper here, by the way, from the Bad Comedy Podcast.
How are you doing, folks?
Yeah.
It's me, Mack. Bad Comedy Podcast, patreon.com/badcomedy or at Bad Comedy Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah,
I'll get my plug in now so that you guys don't stop listening.
Yeah, this is the biannual podcast. Standard Capacity.
No, I'm neighbors with John now. I'm going to make sure that he starts doing the podcast more. I'll bother him to do it.
Yeah,
maybe I'll become your Jamie.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll do it unpaid until it takes off.
Yeah, I'll be like, Mac, pull that up. Pull that up, Mac.
No, I'm not pulling up shit. I'm just going to do sound effects. Dude, on mine, I got gunshots. I got all that shit.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Definitely need gunshots.
I got machine gun shots.
You can, because you can record your own and add them
it's so easy.
On that road thing.
Yeah, you literally just plug in the USB from here to there and then play it on there. It comes through here, and you hit, record the button.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we're recording, right? Okay, because it would suck so bad if you talked forever and then didn't record.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never done that.
I can never dream of that happening.
Yeah, I can't either. But if it did happen, it'd be bad.
Yeah, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, unless you said a bunch of things that you didn't want on there, and it's maybe that's for the best.
Yeah, I mean, there was no podcast recorded prior to this one.
No.
We didn't go an hour and a half.
No, definitely not. Yeah, so you saw the podcast earlier with Asmus. Let's just get this out of the way. I mean, here's the history of my podcasting very quickly before we get into this.
Yeah.
I started a podcast back in 2014.
Mm-hmm. How many episodes you got?
I did 100, and it was pretty consistent. I had a regular guest, Derek, who's still a friend of mine, great guy, and the podcast was decent. I don't know, people seemed to like it, and then I started doing stand up. I did the opposite of what everyone else does. I started doing stand up, and then I quit my podcast.
Oh,
and that's one of my biggest regrets.
To do those simultaneously to build it. Yeah,
I know.
To build your brand.
I know. I should have stuck with it. It could have been, pretty good by now.
You could have had a brand by now.
Because that would have been...
Now all you have is a YouTube channel with 8 million.
If I hadn't... I know. If I hadn't quit my podcast, it'd be coming up on 10 years. It'd be coming up on 10 years now.
You would
if I hadn't quit.
10 years of podcast.
Yeah. 10 years of podcast. For sure.
It sounds like a movie or something.
Yeah. But, here we are, though. We'll see. Maybe I'll keep it going. Maybe not. I make no promises.
He's keeping it going, folks. I live a block away from him. I'll keep him on.
Yeah, we'll do it. I've thought about doing solo podcasts, even if I don't have a guest.
It's tough, dude.
It's scheduling guests is tough too.
I mean, it's really not for podcasts.
Yeah,
I stopped scheduling people ahead of time, and then I schedule them 2 days ahead of time.
Oh, really?
For you, we scheduled ahead of time because you go out of town sometimes and stuff. Yeah. But with local people, I can let you know who we've had on that are good guests and who aren't good guests.
Okay.
I'm not going to name drop them on
here. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. This isn't the Bad Comedy podcast.
No. Only on Bad Comedy Podcast we drop names, folks.
Yeah.
This is
the Standard Capacity
Standard Magazine
podcast. We are in this bar in Chicago.
Yeah.
Definitely as you can see, it's a bar and not a residence.
Yeah, it's a really cool bar.
Yeah.
It's
they like sports and hand grenades.
I'm from Chicago. Yeah, it's an old sports bar. It's called the
Cool Guys Bar.
The Hick Guncock Cool Guys. That's a real grenade.
It is. Yeah. In case the ATF is watching,
it's real, but it's not live.
yeah, it's not live. No, it's actually so. Did I explain to you how this come about? I don't know if they know. I'll tell them.
Isn't that from Vietnam or
no World War II?
World War II.
Yeah, so
that's way cooler.
Yeah, so basically, the way. So this is not the type of grenade you buy at a gun show that has the hole in the bottom.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this as a kid. I thought those were training. You ever see those for sale? You know what I'm talking about, right? They're silver. They're they have no finish on them. There's a hole in the bottom, and then they have the blue spoon on the top. You ever see those?
No.
Okay. Well, growing up at gun shows, there would be baskets of them for $5 a piece, right? And I always thought they were training grenades. They use in training. But turns out what they are is just the head from it like this part right here,
Yeah.
was used in like a training grenade, and then the other thing was just like made just for that, like a cast thing, right?
So you throw it and then like a puff comes out?
No, it doesn't do anything. It just is. It's a
Okay.
paperweight, right? But so these are different because these were live grenades at one point. They were issued to soldiers.
Yeah, so this is real history.
Yeah, it was issued to soldiers in World War II, and the way that these came about was soldiers they wanted to bring back souvenirs. So what they would do is they would unscrew the top and they would dump all the TNT out, and then they would pull the pin on just like the head and like throw it on the ground, and they would just go. And the primer would,
right,
the starter
it was just a small whatever
would go off like a firecracker. And then they put it back in, and then now you have an inert grenade.
How much is this worth money?
Probably about $400 or $500.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'll probably pocket that on the way out.
But it's, like I've always thought the pineapple, the
Imagine
World War
if I had
II,
that in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Like a cop pulls up on me.
Yeah. I always thought, hey,
with my gun chain on.
yeah, good anti-mugging device.
Really?
Are they going to trust me? Are they going to be willing to be like, that's not real?
You're like, yeah, fine, here, and then you pull the thing out and give it in their hand.
Yeah.
You pull the pin out and hand it to them.
Yeah, I hold my wallet against the spoon and just like, here you go.
Good luck, pal. That might be the best way to the robbery.
It really.
All they would do is drop it and run away.
I feel like
And like,
they wouldn't. I feel like they wouldn't risk it because it's a real grenade. That's the thing. So
and everyone knows how a grenade works. Everyone knows that if you release the thing, that it starts timing it to explode.
Like they're gonna think it's probably
how
not
many
real.
seconds is it before?
4. It's
4
pretty
seconds?
quick. It's pretty quick. I saw a video one time of this guy on a grenade range, and he was talking about how like
Range.
Yeah.
Range.
They say in the it's like that ZZ Top song, Le Grenade Range.
There's a town called LaGrange nearby.
Yeah,
Similar.
I thought Texas. I think is the one they were talking about. But
Okay.
but they, in movies or whatever, they pull the pin and flick the spoon, right? So it's like counting down, and they like let it cook for a minute, and then they throw it.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
this guy was illustrating like how quick it is. He had a training grenade that doesn't explode; it just kind of pops.
A tranny grenade, you said?
A training grenade, yeah.
Okay.
And he did that
like a transmission.
Yeah, he did that and threw it on the ground, and he was explaining how like the fuses are kind of inconsistent, so it's not a good idea to do that.
Yeah, I have a buddy, or my dad's buddy, when he was growing up. They used to throw dynamite into trees that were full of birds. He grew up on a farm. It was a fun farm thing, Now
I've heard of dynamite fishing, but I've never heard of dynamite bird hunting.
so you would light the fuse on the dynamite.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't a full stick of dynamite. It was probably like cherry bomb or something like that. But they light it. You only have so much time because once it probably takes it 1 second to get that high, so you have to time it completely
That's
right.
tough.
He held it down a little bit too long. He got up to here. 3 of his fingers blew off.
Oh man.
Yep. Also, one of my dad's farm workers, he was climbing up a silo, and like a grain silo,
Missile silo.
Yeah, missile silo on his farm. My dad works on a nuclear farm, folks.
Yeah.
No, he was climbing down, and then he jumped off the bottom rung because it like starts like up here, and his wedding ring, got stuck on it.
Oh.
And then he was hanging by his finger, and then his finger ripped off. I'm like, Dad, where do all these fingers go?
That's rough.
I'm like, why do all your friends lose their fingers, dude?
That's brutal.
He's like, that's why I came to Chicago. I ain't trying to lose no fingers.
It's just their life up here.
Yeah.
It is funny that everyone like not from Chicago has this idea about how dangerous Chicago is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like in between. It's like I've told a lot of people, I've had to answer this so much, like, why'd you go to Chicago? It's so dangerous. It's like, it's not as dangerous as they make it out to be. But
it depends.
It is dangerous.
It all depends where you are.
I mean, I was at a comedy open mic a couple nights ago, and there was a woman doing a bit about getting mugged earlier that day. And a chunk of her hair was pulled out.
Where was the mic?
It was Surge Billiards, Fullerton.
Oh, in Logan Square?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But she might not have been there when it happened. She just said it happened earlier.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, yeah, no, I mean, Chicago's really not that dangerous. I mean, I've been sold fake drugs a bunch of times, but
that's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, but that's me being an idiot. But I've
It's
never.
like I was trying to buy meth and it was just like bumblebee pills from the gas station.
I've never been forcefully robbed. I mean, it's if you're on the north side, you're generally safe unless you're on your own late at night.
Yeah,
Which I mean,
that's what sucks is like I've kind of I like
you're
walking.
Fine. You're fine, dude.
Yeah, I'll tell this story on the podcast. I was walking home.
Like, do you know what you look like?
Yeah, I've seen.
Like you're 20 feet tall.
Yeah. Well, so one time I was walking home from doing a set, and it was about 2:30 in the morning, and it was cold as hell, and I was wearing this jacket that they've probably seen me wear in videos before. It looks like a Vietnam jacket. It's not a military jacket, but it looks like one. It's just big, huge, like OD green jacket,
Right.
Based off of
With
like
the hard.
yeah,
whatever,
and it's based off of like the classic like M65 field jacket with the pockets in the front.
Yeah, yeah.
And so just to paint the picture for you, I'm wearing this big jacket and I look like this. I'm walking down the street. There's like no one out on the street, and this car pulls up like where I am at the point that like as I'm walking and stops, and I had to stop. Like, all right, here we go. And then I just kept walking. The car stayed there, and I walked up a little further, and then the car pulled up again to where I then was again. I was like, this is bad. I was like, I'm just going to keep walking and looking confident.
You just gotta say, "What's up?"
I know. I just kept walking confidently.
Spread your 15-foot arms.
Yeah. Like Victor Wembanyama. Yeah. And then they sped off. And it could have been a total coincidence, but I like to think that there was an argument in the car.
Whether they should ride
like,
or not.
This one. And the one guy's like, are you crazy?
This
no.
guy's huge.
Yeah, look at this guy. For sure this guy has a gun.
I guarantee that was what it was.
Probably.
I have a story where I got robbed. They took my debit card, but it's because I was essentially blacked out outside of a bar, and these two black dudes said, "We're an Uber," and I was like, "Okay."
We're an Uber. They're just walking. They don't even have a car.
They're in their car.
They don't even have a car.
I got
we're
in
an
my
Uber.
car.
I'm an Uber.
And then they gave me drugs, or we were doing them. They're like, "Can we use your debit card to chop it up?"
What a dumb.
Can we use your card? Do you have a card?
That's so hilarious that that's a move.
Yeah. Somehow they got my pin out of me. I don't know. And then there was $3,000 missing out of my bank account the next morning. Yeah. So.
That's so funny.
But
that's such a.
I mean, as long as if you're with people or you're as big as John Hickok, you're fine. If you're further north than we are, I mean, if you're in like Lakeview, you're normally good, and like the police presence is pretty good even up here.
Yeah,
where we are.
I still though like after that experience and more stories I've heard. Also, that night that I was talking about with the car, like I heard like that later. Like I don't know if it happened that night or the night after that. Like 11 people were robbed within a span of an hour, like around that area that I was walking. So it's probably the same guys.
That's what I was saying. You should have done the bear move.
Yeah,
you do this to bears and bears
right.
run away.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that would totally work.
Do you don't carry around Chicago? Or you're not allowed to, right? Or
technically not allowed to.
Yeah. So you don't. I have a gun, Glock 19 Gen 5, but I purposefully didn't get my concealed carry because whenever I go out, I'm either working or getting drunk. So I don't want to. I don't want to set myself up for a situation where I get into it with somebody, which I do sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, too. Like, if I had a carry permit in Illinois, like, if I'm out, I'm going to a bar to do comedy.
Exactly.
It's not a place where I'm even allowed to carry a gun.
So I just have it at home for home defense, essentially, and then.
And I don't walk late at night anymore. I just don't do it.
Yeah.
I like to walk during the day.
On your own, I wouldn't walk on your own, even with a man of your stature.
It's not worth it. Because the thing is,
you should get like a big puppet that like walks with you.
Yeah, I should.
It's attached to you, so it's like two guys that are that big. No one's gonna fuck with you.
Like here's the unfortunate
giant puppet.
I'm trying to be serious. We were talking about puppets.
Dude,
puppets.
I'm talking about ideas,
serious
strategies not to get robbed.
Puppets.
Talking about a big.
I was just mad about puppets.
I'm talking about a big Muppet, dude. I'm serious, dude.
Man. Fuck puppets. Don't ever bring up puppets around me.
Not in my bar.
What if that
Not
was
my
your
cool
fear?
guy bar.
You just hate puppets. If you see one, you just have to leave immediately, or you
Are
fucking
you
lose
talking
it.
about puppets right now?
I don't trust nothing with a hand up its ass.
Sesame Street, Muppets. I'll fuck around this shit.
I mean, the motherfuckers that got strings and shit.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, the government doesn't have the strings on me. The news does.
No, we ain't puppets, that's for sure.
Well, the news does.
Yeah, I don't play when it comes to puppets.
But you used to walk by yourself around?
Late at night, I used to do it, and then I heard more stories, and after that, I stopped doing it.
So the problem is where we are, we're in East Humboldt. If you're west of Western in Chicago, by Wicker Park, some of you guys are listening don't know what we're talking about, but the park, once you hit the park and you go west, that's where it gets dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
East of it, where we are, and I am, and like 2 blocks west of me are not dangerous. But once you get past the park, or even in the park, it's very dangerous still. This whole area, even where you live right now and where I live right now, 15 years back, it was really bad.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Like, it was overrun by the Latin kings.
Yeah.
They all spoke Latin.
Oh, man. That's the worst part, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm getting robbed.
Nobody could understand it. Yeah.
Speak English.
Somehow they spoke like...
What if you were getting robbed and you were just like, speak American?
Yeah, they spoke like the Romans.
Speak American when you robbed me. Yeah.
They spoke like Jesus when they spoke. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Before you distracted me with this puppet malarkey. One thing is, so it's like my true belief is that, like, I don't think there should even be carry permits. Like, I think it's a constitutional right. You should be allowed to carry a gun and defend yourself.
Yeah.
And I do think that would make a difference in cutting down armed robberies if you know, like, most people are armed, especially if they know how to use a gun. But I will say, though, the caveat to that is the idea that, like, just because you have a gun means you can't get robbed. Like, one thing I think maybe some people haven't thought about is they're thinking about, like, having some showdown with some one guy or whatever. The way these robberies go down is it's like 3 to 6 dudes.
Run up on,
They whip up in a car, which is probably what they were.
It's strategic.
That's the thing. They do it all the time, and they're not dumb. They know some people have guns, and they know it's dangerous.
And they probably have one guy on foot in the alley.
That's
nearby
another thing.
who runs up behind you.
It's very possible. But even if they don't do that, it's like they whip up in a car. Because I've known people have gotten robbed. I've been in Chicago for a while now, so you hear stories. They whip up in a car, they just hop out immediately, and they all have guns. I mean, unless you are dialed in, ready to go, you've got like a full-size pistol, like appendix carry, like you are just ready, and you see the car come up, and you just pull it out and just start nailing them right away.
Yeah.
Even then,
there's all these.
It's going to be tough, but I think people should try. And honestly, like,
as a man, you have this fantasy about what you would do if someone tried to, let's say you're driving your car and they put a gun to your window and say, "Give me your car."
Right.
Like, I had this fantasy where I kick open my door and like,
right.
Like, but like in that moment, you don't know what you're gonna fucking do.
You don't.
But
what
I do if there's like a big squad of people walking up, what I do is I go like this. Is I go like reach my 2 arms down like I'm reaching into my double holster.
Yeah.
And then I walk past them like this, and then I have my gun chain on. Like, this guy probably does have guns.
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out if this is a positive or a negative to wear when I'm walking around.
Positive for sure.
No, but they could want to rob me of it.
Mm.
So, I mean, they'd be correct because I wouldn't have a gun on me.
Yeah.
I would have a switchblade on me, but they might think I'm the wrong guy to rob if I'm wearing a gun chain. They might think I'm carrying.
Right.
So I'm still trying to figure out in my head. I got to do some more diagrams on it.
Yeah, it should. More science.
Yeah, I do a lot of Venn diagrams. So.
Yeah, see what the news says.
Yeah, watch the news, write out some Venn diagrams.
There are a lot of people to rob in a big city, so they're gonna go after Surab. No, I had to. That's such an inside baseball joke, but I had to. I was like, it's right there.
I was literally gonna say.
Yeah, that's right. It was right
Before
there.
you said it, I was gonna say.
I couldn't help it.
There's a lot of people. Rob.
Yeah. So Rob,
shout out Rob.
Yeah, very funny comic. He was the first person to take me on the road from Chicago. We went up to the UP, the Upper Peninsula.
That's where Dylan Mahler, my co-host, is from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bad Comedy Podcast.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. They don't teach emotions up there.
Yeah, the UP is wild, man. It's wild. I'm trying to remember what was the name of the. It was I did a college game. It was like East Michigan College or something.
I have no idea.
I can't remember what.
I don't know anything about the UP.
Yeah, it was way up there though.
All I know
way
is
up
that
there.
it gets a lot of snow in the winter. It's basically Canada.
Oh yeah, it's crazy up there. But anyways, what was I saying about getting robbed? I can't remember, but I will say one thing: awareness is a big part.
Yeah,
is a big thing too. I was talking about like
keep your head.
There's
on
a lot of
swivel.
people to rob, so
Yeah.
if you're alert, I think that's one thing that makes a difference. You know,
And always carry one of these, folks.
yeah, exactly.
If you have one of these, make sure you have one on you at all times.
Yep.
That's what John does, and that's why John's never been robbed.
Yep, that's right. I will say one thing I've thought about doing for a couple of different reasons is getting a second phone and having like a phone. That's what worries me the most about getting robbed is losing my phone.
I can give you one, a prepaid phone.
I could get one.
I found 3 that in rental cars.
Okay.
And when I left, I brought. I mean, it was like they left me there for like a year.
Okay.
But they're like touchscreen, like real phones.
Okay.
So I can just give you one.
Well, yeah. What if? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how if I'm going to do this or whatever. But it's like your life is on your phone, you know, and you lose your phone, and it's like I don't know. It's. I've wondered before, like if I knew I was going to be walking, especially, you know, maybe I have like a separate phone that I bring with me or something.
Well, because you have a non-iPhone, right?
Right.
But does it still upload Does it still regularly upload to an iCloud type of deal?
Maybe that's what I need to do. I just set up a cloud and then.
Yeah, you should.
No, we don't have to worry about it.
Because like every day, my phone will do a backup.
Everything, pictures, texts,
all of it,
notes, all that. Okay, that's what I need to do then.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Once I do that, then I can get robbed.
Yeah. You can just,
I'll be happily get robbed.
Get so robbed.
Yeah. I'm gonna get so robbed.
Yeah, no, you don't need to have 2 phones. Tiny Thickums has 2 phones. My friend Rendell has 2 phones, and I'm like, neither of you are drug dealers. I know for sure. There's no reason for you to have 2 phones.
Is it for if they get robbed? Is that the idea?
I don't know. Like Rendell doesn't get robbed.
Yeah. Here's another thing when it comes to robberies too is like, again, like you never know what you're gonna do in that situation. But I know, like when
we all have our fantasy though of what we would do.
Oh, for sure.
We all know.
We're all delusional.
I know.
We're all delusional. It does. I don't know. I've never been robbed. I don't know how I would react, but I do know the idea of it makes me furious.
Yeah.
And
it gives me adrenaline.
I wouldn't be shocked at myself if I didn't do something stupid.
Yeah.
Just because of how angry I would be at the gall of someone to be like, I'm going to take what you have by force.
But you never know, like whatever.
It depends on the situation.
And it depends on your mind frame at the time. Like,
right. I mean, if 5 dudes hop out of a car with guns and I don't have a gun, like it's pretty obvious I have no options.
Pretty easy. I would John Wick all of them. And I would win.
I mean, I tell you what, that's what I thought. Is what you do if you want to put not an end. It wouldn't nothing end, is it? But if you want to like put a damper on armed robberies, get a bunch of like female competition shooters
and have them walk the streets alone.
To wear their rigs like concealed and walk the streets alone at night. They're done because
I like that.
Here's the thing: shooting sports is one of the sports where like women. I think the best men shooters are still better. I think than the best women, but the margins are a lot slimmer.
Yeah,
women are really good shooters.
Yeah,
they're just like more disciplined in the way that they approach it.
I think the men are generally a little bit more coordinated for some reason.
Right.
It's probably a brain thing.
But when it comes to shooting, like the strength is not as big of a factor.
Right. Yeah.
But dude, I mean, a competition shooter with their rig, I don't care if 5 dudes hop out, they're in trouble.
Yeah, like they'll be
in trouble.
They'll be like contractors for the Chicago police.
Yeah,
and they'll get paid good.
First time a story like that hits the news, 5 attempted armed robbers put down.
Yeah, by Joan Wick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good idea. That's like how they in Chicago, to combat the rat problem, they release a bunch of feral cats. Literally on the streets.
I've been wondering, like, where are they? I haven't seen any wild cats.
I see them.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're not like wild cats, but they're cats.
Well, yeah, mountain lions. Yeah.
I haven't seen any mountain lions anywhere.
Yeah, where are the tigers?
No, but yeah, they release regular cats out there to try to kill off the rats, or at least like
they need to release more,
or at least make them not make nests.
Yeah.
Um,
Because they're
there's
everywhere.
there's a huge rat problem. Yeah.
When I sit on my back patio, I just see them zipping around every different direction. They're pretty non-threatening, though.
No, they're non-threatening, but they're a nuisance. Like my downstairs neighbor, I live in a 3-unit condo thing, and I own a place. No big deal. I'm rich. So my downstairs neighbor has been trying to like grow tomatoes for the longest time, and they just keep like eating the plant even before the tomatoes even grow because they can smell that it's like they can smell that it's going to be a food. For some reason, their noses know that it's like a food plant.
Yeah. It's good, but the flip side could be convenient. Like I was grilling the other day, and a hot dog rolled off the grill onto the ground.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, I need to pick that up later."
Yeah.
And then later it was just gone. And I was like, "Oh, good, someone got it."
Right, especially you. Like you're 20 feet tall, so bending down all the way to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah,
I had a rat just the other night. I was sitting outside, and he like came right up to me and like looked at me, and then just ran away.
Really? What a pussy!
I know. If I was gonna feed them, maybe.
Animals are so dumb.
They're people always say they're smart, but they're so dumb.
Yeah, we're the smart ones. Dolphins, they rape people.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
That's dumb. That's not smart.
Yeah, it's not smart at all.
Riddle me that, science.
Yeah.
What else?
And I gotta say this: like, if animals are smart, answer me this question: if an asteroid hits the Earth and destroys it, will any of them be in space?
No, none.
Exactly.
Now, how many animals have gone to the moon? A chimp tried to get there via us.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Yeah, not good.
They even built them a ship.
Yeah, they're the closest in smartness to us. People are like, octopuses are smarter than humans, and they have cool like color formations they can do in their minds. Like, when was the last time you saw a octopus make a formula for nuclear fission and create a bomb?
Right, this never happens.
I've not met one octopus that has done this. Not even one, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, like everyone's talking now about like these killer whales are like taking down boats.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh yeah, they're getting the people or whatever.
They're figuring out that it's just them. No. They're just swimming around and then you get in the way.
Exactly. They're just dumb. Yeah. They're trying to eat it. They think it's food.
And they think like blue whales are smart. All they do is just float around and just whatever fish come to their mouth they just eat.
Yeah.
Animals are not even close to as smart as us. Like, what?
No. They might be the dumbest.
But
thanks.
They can win wars.
With each other, maybe.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah. Have you heard about the Emu War of 1932?
A little bit. Yeah, tell me about it. What happened?
So, listen here, folks. This will blow your mind. In 1932, in Australia, the wild emus, if you don't know what an emu is, it's a vicious...
is it emu? I always thought it was emu.
Emu, I think.
It's emu? Okay.
I think that's how we say it. Maybe down there, they'd be like, hey, down under, it's the emu. Maybe like
that sounds more French.
Emu. Yeah. Maybe the French people are the first people to tell the story because Australia didn't want people to know. Yeah. You'll hear why now, folks. So there were hundreds of thousands of emus in Australia ravaging farms, just completely destroying full like farms and cities. Like there was like a food shortage. So Australia deployed their full military to fight these birds with machine guns.
Now, to be clear, the birds didn't have machine guns.
No, the birds did not have machine guns.
The Australians.
Animals are dumb.
Yeah.
But
they had Lewis guns.
Yeah, Lewis guns. Yes. So that was like past the Gatling gun before the 50 cal machine gun, I think. And
around the same time.
But basically, they weren't able to contain this problem at all. This probably went on for 5 years, 10 years. I forgot how long. But in the end, the Australian military lost the war. It's on paper that the Australian military lost a war to birds. I think that's the only time that an official government or official country, especially one of that size, has lost a war to animals.
Yeah,
I don't think a country has ever lost a war to animals, ever,
except for Australia.
Yeah, why didn't they like ask for reinforcements? Somebody would have helped them at that time. 1932. When did they become free from England? They're probably still under England's rule.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah. They would have been at that time.
I think the Queen had to authorize it.
Wow.
Or the
Yeah,
king.
that's crazy.
Like there's a king now. Patriarchy. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, it reminds me of a joke that I just now thought of and definitely haven't said before.
Yeah.
On
It just came
on
off
a
the-
podcast
yeah, it just came out.
like on a podcast that didn't get recorded or something like
Yeah.
that. Is that you had to look at it. Is that that's the base, the whole basis for Crocodile Dundee
Yeah.
is to restore honor to the people of Australia.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it wrestling the wildlife down?
Yeah.
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 I like that. I think the game Duck Hunt is kind of like that too. Like when you shoot the ducks down.
Mm.
I think that's kind of like to show that we're dominant over the birds.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Australians probably developed that game. They didn't want to call it emu hunt because they didn't want to be too close to that. No, but dude, these emus, they were fast. They were vicious. They were impossible to shoot. They had big feathers. You thought you shot them with a machine gun? No. Right through the feathers.
Yeah. Skinny necks. It's hard to hit.
And if you look it up, folks, go on like Wikipedia or something and look this up, or just go to Google Images, Emu Wars of 1932. You'll see thousands of emus walking down a road together. It's literally like an army just walking together. And I mean, they're not smart. They're just like a big tribe. But
what's crazy is like Australia is so dangerous. Like
they have all the most dangerous animals.
Yeah, they just let like gators. You'd think, or crocodiles. I mean, would have taken them out. You would think.
Dude, it's wild. They have.
It is crazy how many dangerous animals there are there.
Like
it's nuts.
Platypuses, which are like half beaver, half duck, and they're poisonous.
And snakes.
And they're spiders they have, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. I mean, that's why England sent all the criminals there back in the day.
Yeah.
And also, same thing with like South Africa. Very similar. Not as many bad like animals.
I can't like dangerous insects is like something I can't deal with. You know what
fuck
I mean?
that. Big giant bugs.
If it's something I can shoot with a gun, then it's like, all right, I can handle that threat.
well, are you including spiders
As like something I'd
as an insect? 'Cause that's an arachnid.
Oh, dude, I don't know science.
But they'd be big enough to shoot them.
Yeah, but
With your aim, I mean, at least your dad could.
But they're like they get in your house. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Your dad's way cooler than you. Shout out, Mr. Hickok 45, the king.
Yeah.
Salute.
But yeah, I was I spent a lot of time in southern Arizona.
Yeah. That's kind of by New Mexico.
Yeah.
And kind of by Old Mexico.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, similar. Yeah, close to both of those. And I was working at this club called Laughs in Tucson, one of my favorite clubs.
It's creative.
It's creative. They spell it different though, so
Oh, is it FF?
yeah.
So creative.
It's a great club though. It's an incredible club. But anyway, so I was working out there, and a local comic was telling me about. He like ruined me for life. He told me that there's these scorpions that will like crawl in your bed and sting you at night. You know, they're called bark scorpions, right? So I started looking up some stuff about them, and I used to
and
they're only in that area and Las Vegas apparently, because Las Vegas has bought a lot of like cactuses and stuff from southern Arizona, and they
eggs traveled
migrated there,
yeah.
and they can live in Vegas. And so anyways, I was staying in this Airbnb, and what I used to always do, because I like the desert is like cool, and it's the most like Western movie looking version of the desert, southern Arizona. So I'd always like rent an Airbnb out in the desert when I'd go out there. So I was staying in this like small little Airbnb like way out in the desert. And so I started getting paranoid about these scorpions, you know. And so I was like, all right, let me just Google some stuff and that'll make me feel better, you know. And I found this list, and it was like, you know, top 10 signs that you may have bark scorpions, right?
Dude.
Every single thing on there was like true about the place I was staying in.
God.
You know? Like every single thing.
Yeah,
so it just made it worse and worse. Like I could not sleep.
They're just like worse spiders. They're spiders with a big stinger on the back.
Oh, terrifying.
They're like a bee mixed with a spider.
Oh my God. And here's the thing that really got me is, so bark scorpions, they're the most toxic scorpion in North America. And when they sting you, like,
but does that mean shit? Because I feel like there's way worse scorpions in other continents.
Probably. But I know this though. They said the sting
That's like saying
it's
the best comedian in
right
in Tree, Vermont.
Yeah. But the sting is like a searing, intense pain. It lasts for 48 hours.
Okay. Well, so at least
That's brutal.
At least you know what you got hit by.
Yeah, that's brutal though. I've never got stung by one. I've never even seen one.
I was in Vegas one time, and I was playing blackjack next to a scorpion, and so the scorpion he had a 10.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, yeah, you should. Or no, he had a 19, and
Okay.
I was like, you gotta
Pretty
stay,
good.
dude. You gotta stay.
Yeah, for sure.
And he said hit with his stinger. He said hit, and it was an ace. And I had a 10 in front of me. I was like, fuck you, dude. That was my card.
Dude.
And then I had a 10, and then obviously I hit. I got a fucking 7. The fucking dealer flipped over a fucking 18.
See, this is why people hate scorpions.
I know.
Dude, that's why
it's so annoying. Like when you hit, you're supposed to do like this, like 2 fingers. They do their whole scorpion thing comes over the back.
I hate that.
It's a whole scene.
Jesus. I'll never gamble.
That's my least favorite part of scorpions.
That's why I hate octopuses. Is they cheat at cards.
Yeah,
I mean they're huge, notorious for cheating at cards.
Yeah, especially when they're the dealer. They have so many hands, you can't even tell which ones are doing the shit.
Again, these animals are so it's so crazy that people think they're smart.
One time I caught a scorpion dealer. He had a ace under his armpit.
Yeah,
under one of his armpits. Right. They have what, 16 armpits?
Yeah. it's like Jane Goodall was like, oh, look at these chimpanzees. They're using tools. Like, you know what else uses tools? Me.
Yeah.
Like, where's my documentary?
We use fucking power tools and guns.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, he stuck a stick down a log and got bugs on it.
Got ants.
Yeah, but he's eating bugs, dude.
Eating bugs out of each other's hair.
Yeah.
Maybe get a haircut. You guys ever heard of haircuts?
Yeah, I open an app on my phone. I can get all the bugs I want.
We make movies and shit.
Yeah, dude. Like,
name the last movie an animal made.
Yeah, it's like no contest.
Airbud, they had to fictionalize it. They had to make a fake dog that could play sports.
Yeah, they had to train it.
Yeah,
and it still couldn't.
It still didn't even really do
no,
it.
They just made it look like that.
They use CGI. Animals are so dumb.
They really are. Yeah. So yeah, people are smart. I mean,
yeah, most people.
Animals are lucky.
Most people are really smart.
Yeah.
Like most, I feel like everybody in the U.S. is really smart.
Yeah.
There are some people you could probably compare to animals that live in the U.S.
Yeah,
I know a few. I'm not going to name any. But yeah, so we do stand-up comedy in Chicago. It's a fun scene, folks.
It is. It's it's funny. It's the third largest comedy scene, and
is it now though? It might be fourth now.
No, it's third. Don't even get me started on the Austin and Chicago
Austin's
comparison.
bullshit.
I won't say it's bullshit. I like Austin. I have a lot of friends down there,
but it's also, I think it's a fragile skeleton. So it's a bunch of new people running down there because these cities have been solidified over years and years.
Yep.
And then they're a brand new thing with all these new pop-up clubs. I think it's a bubble.
New York, LA, Chicago are their legacy comedy scenes.
Right.
They have always stayed. Like Boston is a legacy comedy scene, but it fell apart.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
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 Boston. Oh.
Bad Austin.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's just bad Austin.
It's a bad.
It's Austin for sheep, bass. Yeah.
I watched a Whitey Bulger documentary the other day. But
He's from Austin, right?
Austin. No, Boston.
Oh, okay. All right. Here's my thing is this is kind of inside baseball, but not necessarily because I get all these comments on my posts. The people would be like, why didn't you move to Austin? Why didn't you move to Austin instead of Chicago? So like comedy fans all know about Austin. They don't know anything about Chicago.
That's why I think it's a bubble.
Yeah. So I'll like educate some people who are listening at this point. So here's the thing. Austin is a great comedy scene. I consider it to be number 4. This is how I would rank the comedy scenes. And I think most people who are paying attention would agree.
New York, LA, Chicago, Austin.
Denver. Yep, exactly. Those are the 5. Number 1, New York.
4.
Then
That's 4.
LA. Well, Denver is the 5th.
Wait, no. Yes.
New York number 1, LA
I'm not good at
number
math.
2.
I'm not good at math.
Chicago number 3,
learned
Austin 4,
addition.
Denver 5.
Yeah.
After that, I know some of the ones that come to mind are like,
I heard there's
Atlanta is pretty big.
In Denver,
Phoenix.
what do they have? Comedy Works or something?
Yeah, Denver has a lot of stuff. But other than the big five, it'd be like Atlanta, Phoenix, Washington D.C., San Francisco.
Madison has that cool place.
Yeah,
But you wouldn't put that as a city. Yeah, they just had that one.
I'm trying to think.
Club.
Maybe Houston.
I mean, Houston.
Top 10.
Houston beat us in population.
Yeah, and Houston is an underrated comedy scene. They have a lot of stuff.
Well, because they
don't have a ton of clubs.
They in the last decade have become a much bigger city than they were.
Right.
Because they're in a great spot because they're on the water.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Right, Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're on the water. They have a lot of thriving industries.
Right. So like Chicago versus Austin. All right, let's break it down to some degree.
Break it down now.
So I actually did this recently because people were saying so much stuff about Austin. So Austin, I made a list of all the clubs in Chicago and all the clubs in Austin that I would consider to be like that I would count as a comedy club.
Right.
And I came to 12 for Chicago and 7 for Austin. Okay. So almost double. And then if you break down those actual clubs, like traditional legit,
legacy clubs, like Zany's Old Town
comedy clubs.
Yeah.
In Austin, you have the Mothership, which is already going to be one of the biggest clubs.
It's going to be, but it's brand new.
It is, but I count it as a legit club. And then you got Cap City, and then you've got the Creek, and those are really the only three.
But the Creek is also a spinoff of. It was basically a North Bar in New York,
right? But it's a club. It's they do nothing but comedy there, and they have headliners.
It's where a lot of the people started. Mark Norman,
it's a pretty legit club.
The Legion of Skanks guys, they started there. But
those are the three.
It was less of a club, and it was more of a big comedy bar that everyone would go to. And people would basically kind of live there.
Yeah, I still consider it, especially now, it's a pretty legit club. I've been there a bunch of times.
I haven't been to the new one.
Okay, it's pretty legit.
Or the old one. I'm just going off of.
And then the other ones are like I still would count them as a comedy club, but they're like kind of smaller, like independent type comedy clubs. And then Chicago, as far as like those type big clubs, you've got obviously Zany's Old Town, Zany's Rosemont,
yeah,
and then you've got the Improv.
Zany's Rosemont is big.
It is. And you got the Improv.
I haven't been there.
And then Comedy Bar is a legit club. They have headliners. Laugh Factory,
The Den.
It's not really a club though.
I haven't been there.
Yeah,
but I know that what's his name from New York? All the comics think he's a genius. He's not huge though. He was on Insomniac.
David Tell.
David Tell. He was at the Den, and me and my dad couldn't get tickets.
Oh yeah, Dave's great.
I always forget his name, but he's one of those guys who could have been a big commercial success, and kind of was, but he kind of stopped good.
Yeah, that's right. He did kind of.
Junior Stopko, we're talking about.
Yeah,
folks. You got more potential than you're doing.
Junior Stopko, maybe the funniest unknown comedian.
Yeah, he's partially known. I mean, I heard about him on podcasts before I even started doing comedy myself.
Okay, I discovered him. He was opening for Doug Stanhope when they came through Zany's in Nashville.
I heard about him through maybe it was Stanhope was a guest on Real Ass Podcast or something like that.
Okay,
I used to listen to a lot of those New York podcasts.
I mean, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But so, anyways, back to this comparison to Chicago and Austin. So, as a comic, like from the comic perspective, not like as a comedy fan, like you're a comedian, you're trying to decide what scene to go to. Some of the negatives and positives
or to be in, or to live in,
to live in, right? Now, Austin. Regionally it's not great. It's a little more like Denver in that sense. You have Houston, which is 2 hours away, and Houston has a lot of stuff, so that's good.
Right.
But then you got Dallas, which is like 4 hours away, and it's got some clubs or whatever,
Dallas,
but still it's 4 hours away.
Have you performed there in Dallas, Fort Worth?
I have, yeah. I did the Hyenas.
Okay. Because Fort Worth used to be like more cowboy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it still is kind of.
Still is kind of cowboy.
Yeah, it still is kind of.
I kind of want to go there.
It's cool. I love it.
Is that the most cowboy?
Great steaks.
Aside from Lukenbach, is that the most cowboy place you can live in Texas?
One of them. El Paso. I mean, I got way out.
El Paso.
Midland. You get out in the real Texas.
That's where I would live. Yeah. I don't want to live with all these lib cucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to live with the libs.
Right. But so the simple terms, it's like Chicago has more clubs, more opportunities. It's better regionally because you have all these other cities that are like it's all scattered all around.
We're right in the middle.
We're right in the middle.
So you can go east, you can go west, you can go south.
Massive airport. I mean, it's a great location in that sense. And then another thing that I think is one of the most underrated characteristics of a scene that helps young comics like ourselves.
Danger.
Well, that's right. The danger is the quality of the comics that you're rubbing elbows with.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people are moving to Austin. A lot of young comics are moving to Austin because their thought is like, oh, there's all these big comics down there.
Maybe I'll meet one, and
but they're not like in the scene.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not
hanging out with you at open mics.
Yeah, or you're not on local shows with them. You know.
Right.
Unless it's like showcases at like the big clubs and stuff. So it doesn't help you that much that they are there. But in Chicago, you just have like a really high quality level of comics that are like unknown.
A high level of mic scene. So the big comics do go to the mics, except for some people we've discussed. Right. But like Dale will go to mics, like Joe Fernandez are all really good. Michael Myers goes to a lot of mics. Some really high caliber comics go to a bunch of mics where they don't necessarily need to go, but they want to perfect their shit.
Right.
And
it's a working man scene.
If you think that you're like, if you're too arrogant to go to mics, then you're probably just not getting better.
Right. Exactly.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
or like
whatever I write is gonna be perfect. Or if you're using your we're
talking about open mics, by the way. We're like anyone can sign up.
Yeah, anybody can sign up at open mics.
Like 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Some people that are higher up think that they don't need to go to open mics, but it's always better to go to open mics. You get your reps in.
Yeah.
You get your name and face out there too.
The only time, I think,
even to newer comics, you get your name and face out there.
I think, even like some really successful, like that's what like in LA, New York, and those big scenes, like famous comics will go to mics there.
Yeah,
like
Mark Normand when he travels, a lot of times he'll go to an open mic in that scene.
Totally, which is super cool.
Pittsburgh open mic scene sucks.
Yeah,
I want to Pittsburgh. Fuck you, especially Stephen Hofstetter. Wait, when is he coming in town? Is it
that's soon? I think
that already happened because I'm gonna buy tickets and then I'm gonna hope he does the Q&A.
That would be pretty funny. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that guy either.
No,
one of the few comics I will publicly make known I don't.
So me and my comedy partner Jason, we're gonna kill Stephen Hofstetter, folks. It's not a real threat. Not.
Yeah. So, anyways, Austin. I like Austin. It's a cool city. They have great food down there. I mean, I like a lot of things about it, and it is one of the biggest scenes. If you go down there, like you can make a career there because there's a lot of stage time and a lot of clubs. There's famous comics, right? There's nothing there that's necessarily going to like hold you back from being able to have a career. But I do think Chicago offers more opportunities, more exposure to higher level comics. But there is, and another thing too is like you have like the whole Rogan thing down there, and a lot of people that don't understand how like the whole comedy industry works, probably like they see that and they think like, oh, go there and just get in with Rogan.
Right. You have
the
just
thing
a bunch
is,
of podcast listeners that flee down there.
The problem is like you have basically like there's like one avenue to make it big in Austin, and it's through that system. And anytime you have that in a scene, you have all these like gatekeepers that basically like everyone who got to that opportunity first is like standing at the gate, like trying to keep you away.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get in unless you're already friends with someone who's friends with someone who's friends with the right person.
Shout out to Brandon Kiefer though. He got a spot at Chicago Theater opening for Tony Hinchcliffe
which is awesome.
From his Kill Tony spot. Shout out Brandon Kiefer. And then for listeners, Kill Tony is a live open mic show where basically you do 1 minute of comedy and a panel kind of like either talk shit to you or says your comedy's good. Tony Hinchcliffe, the host, invited Brandon Kiefer on to open at Chicago Theater, probably the biggest space in Chicago aside from a
historic
stadium that you can play at. That's where Louis C.K. goes, and yeah.
It's funny because Tony Hinchcliffe actually asked me to do Soldier Field, but
yeah. Well, he asked me to do the United Center. He asked me to. So Michael Jordan was going to feature for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I was going to headline.
Oh, damn. All right.
Yeah.
That's not as good as well.
A little bit better than yours. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing. As an out of towner, you almost have a better shot of doing those things. But Kiefer's already like an established, like great comic. So it's
funny because he was probably more Southern than most people in Austin.
It's probably, yeah, because Austin people, they're all from like Colorado and LA and California.
Yeah. Like he doesn't have much of an accent, but he has an accent.
Yeah.
Albers, you can't tell whether he's doing like a black accent or a Southern accent.
Yeah.
But it's both.
Yeah, it is. It is both. Yeah. He's very funny.
Zach Albers is one of my favorite comics.
Very funny.
Look up Zach Albers, folks.
So yeah, it's like I hate people like are putting me in a situation where I don't want to shit on Austin because I like Austin. Like I've been there many times. I've been down there in the beginning. I've done I did the Secret Show. People are like, get on Kill Tony, get on Kill Tony.
No.
It's like I don't want to do.
That's
Kill
like
Tony.
a shot in the dark lottery bullshit.
It is. I don't want to do it.
Chicago will help mold you, and like going to Mike's like Beer Belly where. Sometimes you bomb because it's an honest room. Like people aren't laughing for no reason like they will in Lakeview.
Yeah.
Or you go to Power Hour, people aren't going to laugh unless it's funny.
Austin is a little bit almost too supportive in my experience.
Exactly,
because there's a lot of jokes that I used to have in my act because I would go to Austin a lot and it would do well down there. That I eventually learned like don't really work outside of like certain open mics and shows down there because like Austin is like. Very supportive of like alti, like more avant-garde type comedy, which is cool. Except if
to
you're
an extent,
if you're trying to be like a club act that can play to like everyone, those can kind of help you create bad habits.
Right.
What I mean?
You can only take alt to some extent.
Right.
So
unless you got to be. That's the thing. Like Casey Rocket down in Austin, who's I think phenomenal. He's controversial. Some people don't like him. I think he's phenomenal, but. You got to be like so good at it and doing something so out there. I feel like if you're just like kind of alt, you're just going to be a comic that people don't really.
My
get.
comedy's kind of alt, but I mean, there are some people that are just like complete alt, and it's just like, what are you even doing up there?
Right.
What I try to do is confuse the audience with a weird style of thing, and then throw a punchline in the middle, and then people laugh a bunch.
Yeah.
And then end with an anti-joke and confuse them again. Start a new joke, another big punchline, they're laughing again. Like, what is going on during this set? I take them on a roller coaster ride is what I try to do.
I like that.
I want it to be...
Junior is kind of
I want to give them a Six Flags experience.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I want it to be like a fun roller coaster experience.
Yeah.
Junior is kind of like that too.
Yeah,
he's like, Holocaust? I love the Holocaust.
Don't do his bits on the.
Sorry, Junior.
What the hell, dude? He was about to do that on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, but Chicago is a great spot geographically to have your roots.
Right.
Luckily, me and Jason are friends of Chris Grieva in Pittsburgh, so if we want to go east, we can go there on the way. Have you ever touched base with him?
Yeah, I did his show up here. Yeah, in Chicago.
Talk to him about. You can crash at his attic. He has like a place made for comics crashing at. Even though obviously you can stay at a hotel, like just crash there and hang out with his buddies in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Even though their open mic scene sucks ass, and I want to kill everyone at all of his open mic at all of the Pittsburgh open mics. Like who are the people that I want to kill? No. I can name drop people in that scene, right? No, just their open mic scene is kind of weird because it'll be at a bar and there'll be a bunch of open seating, and then you see all of the comics like squish like sardines in the back, and I'm like it's not that cool being all the way in the back. Like you can sit in one of the you can sit in a chair.
Yeah,
like we walked in, we sat in a booth, like not that close to the stage. We were still like 15 feet away from the stage.
It is funny, like when even comparing like Nashville, like because Nashville is small compared to Chicago.
People take the back of the room like too seriously.
Totally.
That means during a show. Like there's the audience not laughing, but the back of the room is laughing, which is the comics that are either not on the show and coming to watch, or the comics that are going to be up.
Yeah.
If you're at an open mic, just sit in the chairs. Give some support to the person that's on stage, or at least give them a chance.
Yeah. Like small scenes in general have such a different culture, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like, because like even compared to Nashville, which is not a big scene, it's like kind of a mid-sized, I guess. And I would go on the road and be in like places where they don't really have much of a comedy scene and do like a mic or something. It's just so different. Everyone's like, it's some people might like it because it's like it's not competitive and everyone is like super nice and friendly. It feels like a social club, which I like the competitiveness because I'm trying to get better. You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you, I'm trying to make Chicago comedy, Bad Comedy Entertainment. That's my LLC, limited liability corporation. Unlimited liability corporation. I'm taking over the comedy scene in Chicago, folks, and we're gonna make Chicago. We don't have an identity. New York. Have I said this on this podcast, or is that the last one?
It might have been on the one of the others.
Well, anyways,
just say it again.
New York has some of the best joke writers and some of the best people. They time everything right, and their jokes are great. LA has these people with nice sneakers on that do crowd work. Chicago, we don't have an identity. We had the Second City improv people. No one cares about improv. We need an identity.
It died with Chris Farley.
It died with Chris Farley. It really did. And we're going to have the most dangerous fucking scene on the map. So if you want to be a badass, you come to Chicago and start doing comedy.
Exactly.
You know what? Yeah, you can even join the militia if you're cool enough with me, him, and Dale.
Yep.
But that's what Chicago is. It's the most dangerous comedy scene in the nation.
It should. And it's not even the comedy itself. It's like just in general.
It's just, like we're badass.
yeah, exactly. It's not like dangerous in an edgelord type way.
No, you can have any
dangerous.
type of comedy. It's just we have weapons.
I love that.
But that's right. That's the new Chicago identity. We got to have an identity. We didn't have one.
Yeah.
I feel like but I feel like it is a good scene. It's a scene where it's not too supportive, but it's not too unsupportive.
Right.
Like
it's kind of the perfect amount for me.
Yeah, and I'm happy with the mics that I go to. I feel like people will only laugh if what I say is funny,
right? And
they won't laugh if it's not funny. And that's the feedback that I want before I go on stage in front of real people.
Right. I will say though, like New York and LA are better. It's like I don't want to be like that's the one thing in Austin.
That's why I said we're number 3.
Yeah,
we're the most dangerous.
Right. Some people in their scenes, like I'm not gonna name names, but I've known certain comedy scenes where they think they're the best, and they're like not even as big as Austin. They're like maybe the 12th largest, and it's like everyone thinks where they are is the best because they want to justify like not having to move or whatever.
I heard Philly's pretty good.
Philly, I think has,
or maybe they have like 2 good clubs. I heard their Helium is really good, but I don't know if their whole scene is good.
Any close to New York,
they're definitely better than Pittsburgh.
Like my reason for coming here personally instead of like New York or LA. One, I don't like LA as a city. Yeah, I just don't like it. I would not want to live there or spend a lot of time there.
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, New York seems cool, and it's the mecca for comedy, but it's so expensive.
Yeah,
there, and
you're poor.
Yeah, exactly. And where I have to kind of, I have to like go back to Tennessee to film and stuff. It would be just it'd be too difficult. This is the perfect
central spot
for
a traveling comic.
It is. That's why I was saying New York.
Yeah,
I mean Chicago is like New York is where you go and camp out if you're just like I just want to be the best stand-up I can be.
Right, but then you're cornered. But then you're cornered.
You are cornered. LA is where you go if you want to be a stand-up and do movies and TV.
Or do crowd work with fresh Nikes on.
Right. Chicago is where you go to do one of 2 things, in my opinion. You come to Chicago to get really good and become a road comic, which is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Or
I think what Jason does. Jason has gotten reinvigorated into comedy.
Yeah.
Like he's taking breaks and shit.
Yeah.
She's trying to get back onto your level type of thing.
Okay.
He still headline shit and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But he's doing it like 10 years.
Okay.
And he, for a while, was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
And then now he's trying to hop back into traveling and shit. Yeah. So you guys travel together.
We should. Yeah. Let's do it. But I was going to say the other one is a stepping stone to New York. That's the other like good use of Chicago that I've seen because Chicago is kind of a mini New York, and I've seen some comics like because if you go to New York as a comic who is like brand new or like not good at all, like you could get buried by that place, just completely buried in that system,
and then your rep is down the drain. Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You want to go there with being reputable to some extent.
It would help.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and if you can prove yourself on stage there, then
right. Honestly, a great move is like it depends on where you live, but like if you did like your first 3 years in a mid-sized scene, like a place like Nashville where I came from. Nashville is like kind of a great place to start. Nashville's it's pretty underrated. It's a pretty good comedy scene, or
That's
at
what
least
I've
it
heard.
was at one time for how small it is.
Adam Freeland hates Nashville.
Yeah, okay, but it'd be a great place to start,
Comptown?
but not a great place to build
Yeah,
a career. I don't think, unless you're a very specific type of thing.
No, you're right. Yeah,
Because it has the same issue as Austin, whereas like there's kind of like one avenue for you to get successful there, and if you don't fit in with that, then you're done.
yeah.
Um,
I was in Rashville for a few months.
Rashville?
At a rash. Remember that?
Dude.
You remember my rash?
Why would you go there?
Because it sounds like Nashville.
You just got confused. You just
I
accidentally.
was like Rashville, Nashville.
You're like, what the hell? I thought this was Music City. I just got a rash.
Yeah.
What, I'm gonna play the rash?
Yeah, I was like, I want to go to Nashville, not Rashville.
What the hell?
Turned out I did have a rash for like 3 months and it sucked.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, back to your thing.
Yeah, that was definitely worth interrupting what I was saying.
Yeah.
This is the podcast where we learn that you're autistic.
What do you think the specific Nashville thing would be?
What do you mean?
Like what would because you said unless you have a specific kind of style, then you wouldn't do well in Nashville. Then you wouldn't be someone who's a star in Nashville.
I don't want to get too much in detail of that. I know, but I don't want to get too much detail.
Let's talk about Rashville then.
Yeah.
So
no, I know, but I don't want to get too much detail. But
we'll talk about Rashville instead.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So like,
is this the night from Scream?
Yeah.
Look at this, folks. This is the night
It's the
from
original.
Scream.
It cost me $1.2 million.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
I have the hook from Sandy Hook.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
dude,
the hook that he used.
that's crazy. You're the one that won that auction. I was bidding on that.
Yeah, it's still Sandy. I can't believe he did all that with one hook. And then
That's crazy.
I also have the
I have the phone from Columbine.
I have the porcupine from Columbine. I also have the AK-47 that was used in the movie Hook with Robin Williams.
I actually do have the an original Colt single action, the one that was used in the movie Rust.
Actually, the Alec Baldwin one. You know Alec Baldwin. You know his name his family's name was Alec Heroin before they came in, and then they changed it to Baldwin because heroin sounded like the drug.
I actually sold I used to own the gun that was used before the movie, and I actually sold that to him. The reason I sold it was because they had a bullet wedged in the barrel. And they
No matter what you put in the clip.
Yeah,
That's smart, dude.
I was like, I'm not gonna use this. I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think. And when it comes to comedy scenes, though, I mean, hell, I've seen people make careers from towns you've never even heard of.
I mean, Sam Tallent's from a hog farm in.
Well, but he moved to New York though. Spent time.
He was one of the pigs on the pig farm.
Oh shit.
You know,
that's pretty funny.
Jason told me this. It's actually a true story though. So
Okay.
apparently he was one of the pigs, and he talked because pigs are one of the smarter animals. I know they're not as smart as humans,
Right.
But if you've heard about Animal Farm, they're one of the smartest.
Oh,
And
right.
so he had them all piggyback on top of each other, and then Ham Talent with his snout, he unlocked the gate.
Ham Talent.
And got out. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they took over the house and put all the humans in the hog thing. And then he just took off from there. And now he's one of the funniest comics around. I mean, even though he's not like, you don't see him on TV, if you see him in person, it's kind of like a Junior Stopka aspect. Like you can tell that this guy is just fucking hilarious. Have you seen Sam Talent live?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's very funny.
I thought you were talking about Ham Talent.
It's same guy.
Okay, all right.
He would change his name to Sam to
To appease the industry.
when he was a pig, the farmers called him Ham Talent.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
gotcha. No, Sam Talent's
Because
incredible.
he was going to be Ham. Like
Yeah.
they were going to turn him into Ham, but they took over the hog farm.
Jeez.
This is just what I've heard from Jason.
Okay, all right. I'm sure he's telling the truth.
I'm so mad. We called Sam Talent on one of our podcasts. We talked to him for a bit. It was when who did we have in the room? We had a guest in the room too, but we had Harold. And we called Sam Talent. We talked to him, but we had one of these issues.
Oh yeah.
Or no, it was only my mic was recording.
Okay.
And so you can Bluetooth on here. So you can, if you want to call somebody on the pod, you can Bluetooth their phone call into the
Oh,
whole
nice.
feed, so you
Okay.
can hear the mics and everything.
All right.
That's one thing I could show you at some point. But we called him; it was all on there, but the only feed that was going was through my mic, so we lost all that.
Oh, damn.
But next time he's in town, I guess he texted Jason apologizing that he didn't talk enough and he had to go so soon. So he's coming to town soon. He might come on Bad Comedy.
Okay.
So that'd be dope.
Cool. That would be cool.
Junior Sopka won't come on because he doesn't do podcasts.
That's weird that you won't do podcasts.
Yeah, but that seems like a Junior thing.
Yeah. Think he'd do mine? What if I paid him?
If you paid him, he'd probably do it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I could produce it. I'll be your Jamie for the first few podcasts.
Could you broker that? You broker that deal?
What?
Could you broker that deal?
Yeah.
All right. Tell him I'll pay him. Come on.
Well, okay, yeah. I could try to make it happen.
All right.
But
do it.
I'm down to help you produce for your first few episodes.
Just now we're just having a conversation that's after. This should be after a podcast.
This is good.
This is a post-podcast conversation still in the podcast.
People love inside stuff. So I'm going to try to get Junior Stopka on. Well, I'm going to have Dale, so it's going to be a long process. So he's going to have me get Dale to have Junior come on this podcast. Actually, no, if I hit up Junior directly and there's money, if you pay it, you probably $50.
Pay more than that. It's Junior Stopka.
No, just
he's my third favorite comedian.
$50 would be the offer.
All right.
I don't want to.
If that's true. If it's too much, he's almost more likely to turn it down.
Yeah,
He'll be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. We did the podcast. Speaking of comedy, we have actually a set to do.
Oh shit! Yeah, we have to go to that mic.
We do.
Well, our friend it's his first time hosting the mic, and he's autistic. So if we don't go, he might go have one of those.
He might go.
Yeah, he might go.
What
I'm saying?
He might go if we don't go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he might go. Yeah. So
thank you guys for
thanks for listening.
And we'll see you in about 5 or 6 months.
Follow him. No, it'll be back in the next few weeks or next week. I'm going to try to push this guy. I live a block away from this motherfucker now. And I'm a businessman. Or I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Yeah, okay.
So
all right,
I'm going to handle my business. Damn. Right. That's a Jay-Z verse. Follow me at Bad Boy of Comedy on Instagram, TikTok, and
follow me
at Bad Comedy Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and then patreon.com/bad comedy. That's where my podcast actually is. We say fucked up shit. We don't have knives. We have guns, folks.
Damn. I mean, guns are way cooler than knives.
Yeah, John hates guns.
Yeah, follow me on John Hickok 45, HICK. Okay. People like to put an extra C in the Hickok.
Yeah, like a cock.
Yeah. It's Ock. It's not cock. It's not k. It's Ock. Hickok 40, John Hickok 45.
I think
your
stage name should be Hick Guncock.
That's true. I've always wanted to be a hack.
Hack
Hackcock.
Hack. John Hackcock. All right, folks.
All right. We'll see you in a couple. We'll see you in several months at probably a totally different setup.
Love you. Love you guys.